Rajneesh Chopra, who is the Global Head and Business Development at Tech Wabag. Hi, a very good afternoon, Rajneesh, and thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. So this is your highest value in terms of the new orders from the South Asian markets. So if you could tell us and take us through some of the details about the order, like your share in the order, the execution period, and so on.
I'm really delighted to share with you that Wabag has won the highest value order in its history of almost 100 years. This is a 400 million liters per day desalination plant to be built in Chennai. Our client is Chennai Metro Water, and the funding is coming from JICA, which is a multilateral funded job. This desalination plant is going to be the largest desalination plant in Southeast Asia. We have already built the largest desalination plant currently operating in Chennai. So probably this is 4 times of that. So one, it is going to bring a lot of security to the city in terms of water. At the same time, when we look at from Wabag's perspective, given the size of the contract and an execution period of 42 months, I think it is going to result into a major growth for us going forward. And desalination market is one market which is growing at a double digit globally, especially with the advent of hydrogen, green hydrogen coming in. And we are already amongst the top 10 desalination players. With this particular order, we expect that we'll be further moving up globally in our rankings. And we'll be able to qualify for very large desalination plants which are coming up in different parts of the world.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chopra. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. And firstly, congratulations for such a big order. But apart from this order, recently you also bagged a Bangladesh order. So post all of these orders, where does your order book stand right now?
Yeah, I think that is the most expected question. So I think in my last interaction with ET Now, I had mentioned that we'll be closing minimum 5,000 crores worth of orders before 31st March. So we won an 800 crore order, which is funded by World Bank and AIIB in Bangladesh, which is the first order for us in Bangladesh. So both put together, we have already exceeded 5,000 crores. So I may not be able to, mention the exact figure since we are in a silent period currently. But I can definitely tell you that in the history of Wabag, we'll be the closing with the highest ever order backlog. And that will be one of the strongest indicators of our growth going forward. Because if you see the current year, our focus has more been on profitability. But given the size of the order book, we are pretty sure that going forward, both you'll see a appreciable growth both in the top line and bottom line.
Okay, Mr. Chopra, just wanted to get in some more details on your order inflows. In Q4, if we see, then your order inflows is somewhat around 5,200 crores. Is this number sustainable on a quarterly basis going forward? What is your sense?
See, our business is always a very lumpy business. So I don't think, we can, clock 5,000 crores every quarter. But definitely our endeavor will be that in the coming year, whatever order book we have, in the current fiscal year, we should try to, either achieve or exceed that order intake for the coming year.
Let's shift focus into your overseas accounts. How has the execution been there, given the fact that there have been some concerns about slowdown kicking in those areas? Are you facing any issues on your front?
I think we had certain logistics issue because of which, there was a slowdown in the execution. And obviously we have one major overseas contract where we found that although we are well set to execute that contract, but because of certain sanctions, I'm mentioning here about our Russia contract, we had to redo our ordering on new vendors and see that which are the countries from where we can procure the material, where sanctions are not applicable. So definitely that has put a little slowdown on our execution, being the largest order. Other than that, I think our execution is on target, and it will continue to be that, whether it is India or overseas.
Okay, Mr. Chopra, in Q3, your margins saw an uptick owing to easing of the RM prices, but how should one see your core margins, that is actually excluding your other income? Because while speaking to the analyst community, the inconsistencies in the margins has been a concern. So anything on that front?
As I said, during our silent period, we are not allowed to comment on that. So once we are able to freeze our results for this particular quarter and year, we'll come back to you and maybe we'll be able to give you more information on the margins aspect.
Right. Mr. Chopra, let's put the spotlight on the arbitration issue related to the project in Andhra Pradesh. If you could help us with some of the updates on that particular front. Also, any timelines that you can share as to when you're going to expect the money to come in on the same, and that may actually end up easing some working capital for you.
See, since most of our receivables, they are sub judice. So at this point of time, I'm not able to comment, but as and when there is any development, I think we will be the first one to come back to the investor community and media to share the developments.
Okay, but with this, Mr. Chopra, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and giving us some more details onto the new order win for the company and how the company is planning to execute the same. Well, let's